Hate this a bit. Soon as I start the day, I hit traffic. God damn. How I literally just pulled out the rest area and put right into traffic. Straight. What is going on?
Candy painted Chevys, clean cut Jettas, boxy 5 Series BMWs, all flexing that stance game. Tucked just right. Chrome spoke, deep dish, wire wheels, every rim a statement, every curve a catwalk. It wasn't just about speed, it was about presence. Pulling up slow so you could catch the sun hit the lip. So fresh, even the stoplights froze to stare. Paint so clean, the reflection came with an ego. No chrome, go home. If the rim was dull, the vibe was dead. From hood to Autobahn, we spoke a universal language. BBS. Car wash on Saturday, car show by nightfall. We didn't need trophies. The streets handed out the applause. Clean rims, dirty looks. That's how you knew you won. Backspin Chronicles, the BBS boys. Where deep dish wasn't just on the plate, it was on the pavement. They say money talks, but back Donald Trump had me rolling today. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, he's tearing up this country, but good Lord, he always comes in with a zinger, boy. I tell you, man. The space, the astronauts. Well, the guy that's one of the scientists there, at the in the office, after the little space travel that they did, the unnecessary one. Man, Donald Trump talked about his ears because his ears are really big. And that dude turned red and was like, just talked about my ears. He almost got his feelings. He goes, wow, I bet you can hear everything. Those big, beautiful ears. Look at those things. Those are huge. I think I could connect a satellite dish to those. You're like satellite dishes. You're perfect for space. I bet you could find a lot of.
God damn. So Trump is a man. This dude is funny as shit. Turn on my love. But funny as hell. And Drewski is killing people, y'all. Be scared. You back got it, baby, man. Ow. Ow. Oh, there was an accident up there.
Well, good.
Somebody went all off the road. Good Lord. What happened? Did they roll it? I see curtain airbags. I see curtain airbags. Y'all see it over here in the corner? Yeah. It's all over there. Good grief. They rolled up the hill. They must have been cooking. They rolled up the hill. Wait, there's another one. The whole truck. Damn. There's two within the half of a mile. What is going on today? It's beautiful outside. How are they just rolling? It must have happened in the nighttime rain. I don't know. Let me not assume what's going on with these folks. All I know is that hope they're okay. Hope they're alive. Good grief. Right on the border of Virginia, West Virginia. In your lane.
Hey, now let's go, baby. Look good. Yay.
It takes 90 seconds for this NASA engineered AC cool down your room. It's smaller than Garcia, who used to work on thermal control.
Man, did you see what happened to Spirit Airlines last night? Just shut down. No delays. Outslate just 3 a.m. right up, nothing in the air type stuff. This morning at 3 a.m., Spirit Airlines ceased operations. So what that means is Spirit does not have airplanes in the air flying as of this morning. Also, their call centers are closed and they don't have staff at ticket counters. They have no.
How do you get up, wake up in the middle of the night on vacation? That's what email saying. Bitch, you ain't got no way home.
Think it's fitting that we start this one off with the moment of silence. Let's hold our hands. They was on life support for the past year, so I guess they just couldn't make it too much longer. But anyway, let's get into the chaos surrounding Spirit Airlines abruptly closing. What it look like TV?
I am back. What it do, baby?
YouTube's own Varnell Hill.
Yeah, miss me.
Your very own spokesman for the inside, and we're inside and we're comfortable.
They're so comfortable.
And I'm back with another one. And today, y'all, I bring you sad news. It's a disappointment to all us budget travelers, but we have no more Spirit Airlines, man. Even though every time you chose to fly with Spirit, it was a roll of the dice and it was a gamble. It was always good to have that cheap option. But Spirit is no more.
This morning, Spirit Airlines announced it's going out of business after 34 years. All flights have been canceled, and now thousands of employees are suddenly out of work. Last week, the Trump administration proposed a $500 million taxpayer bailout that reportedly would have given the government up to a 90% stake in the company. Yesterday, President Trump said his administration had made its final proposal. Ultimately, no deal could be reached.
Sure glad I wasn't planning to fly Spirit Airlines this weekend. All flights canceled. And the crazy thing is that just 2 hours before they made the announcement that all flights were canceled and they were shutting down operations immediately, they had responded to a passenger on X and said, "We remain fully operational and all flights are on." So that all escalated quickly. Elizabeth Warren is blaming Donald Trump and the gas prices to the war in Iran, the jet fuel going up, causing the shutdown. Others are blaming Elizabeth Warren and the Biden administration for not allowing the JetBlue Spirit merger 2 years ago. And some people are saying, well, who needed Spirit anyway? It was a terrible, cheap airline. It allowed a lot of people who wouldn't otherwise be able to travel to go visit family and travel. I took Spirit a couple of years ago to go to Vegas, and I knew what I was paying for. Super cheap flight, got there safely, no big deal. So it's definitely a bummer that this airline went under.
Somebody bring my saxophones, man. Rest in peace to Spirit. CNN shut down. And I mean, RIP to our pockets, because if they shut down, that means these prices about to sky rocket. They was showing niggas about this shit 3:01 a.m. They shut down. Fast flight land. They get a little intercom. And you like, sorry, no can't do. We can't help you out there. You can book through another airline though. And to make it even more egregious, Spirit was taking people's money and letting them buy tickets, non-refundable, by the way, up until the last minute, because that says everything about American corporation greed.
All the girls going to Miami, cancel your flights, baby, because Spirit is gone. Gas got to them. They could no longer afford fuel. 17,000 workers are going to be out of jobs, including 14,000 employees and thousands of contractors and people who just depended on Spirit. All y'all flights are canceled. Now, if you have a ticket from Spirit Airlines and you need to get to where you need to go, here are the airlines that are willing to work with you. American Airlines has a fair cap, this price limit. They're going to help you with making sure that the prices don't skyrocket when you turn that ticket in. Frontier to the rescue. Y'all get up to 50% off. All my Miami girls, go ahead and lock in. United is offering like 200 to 300 one-way fares. But here's the kick. You have to do a loyalty sign up. But they trying to get in on the back end. JetBlue got $99. I'll run for them. They rebook it quickly. And you knew Southwest wasn't going to be left out. They're going to offer you some low fares. Honestly, I ain't never heard of the one at the bottom. The effects of this war are starting to hit corporations. I know they fucking nervous now. Let's see who makes the phone call to Wix us.
Once this news broke all across social media, it was a whole bunch of Spirit customers in the airport with their fingers crossed, hoping that their flight would be the last flight.
So apparently at 3 a.m., Spirit Airlines is like going bankrupt. Am I going to be on one of the last ever Spirit Airlines flights? Hopefully the snap shows up.
We're currently at the Fort Lauderdale Airport. It's currently May 1st. And as of May 2nd, Spirit is going to be shutting down at 3 in the morning, according to the Wall Street Journal. And we got, I believe, to be one of the last flights coming out of Fort Lauderdale for Spirit. Sucks, man. I've literally pretty much only flown Spirit for my 5 years that I've been 21 and traveling on my own. It's been a perfect budget airline for me. I even have a Spirit credit card. And I've gotten 2 free checked bags, and I'd love to find another airline that has been able to accommodate budget travelers like Spirit has. So I really hope that this isn't my last Spirit flight, but if it is, appreciate you, Spirit, for everything that you've done for us, and hopefully we'll see you again.
With them shutting down at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night, I must admit, that was some real sneaky stuff. Y'all shut down in the middle of third shift, so you know you was on some sneaky stuff. It's a lot of people that's stranded right now.
People were sitting in the airport when they got news that Spirit Airline completely shut down and all flights were canceled effective immediately.
So the only warning that you got was when? Today. We tried to see the tickets and we saw the message in the big screen that he said that we cannot, that they were canceling flights.
Stay frosty down there. Continue to push forward. Bogey spotted. Opening fire. And no down.
Flights.
All flights have been canceled effective immediately, and they're not offering rebooking services right now, telling passengers to book with other airlines. Several carriers have stepped up, which is certainly good news, offering support for impacted travelers, some even offering reduced fares on select routes. Now, the airline did release a statement this morning telling guests all flights have been canceled and customer service is no longer available. Travelers will automatically receive refunds for flights purchased with a credit or debit card, but those who booked using a voucher, credit, or points will be informed about compensation at a later date. Now, Spirit passengers are being told not to go to the airport. Instead, refer to the website spiritrestructuring.com for further guidance.
Okay, yeah, those Spirit flights are literally canceled indefinitely. I had a flight for today at 9 o'clock in the morning, and at like 1 o'clock in the morning, thank God this time I was a late packer. I didn't get no sleep or nothing like that. They emailed me and it was like, oh, all Spirit flights are canceled.
immediately, you know, yeah, back your refunds, but that's it. We're not gonna pay for y'all to go to no other airline or nothing like that. So I'm just like, damn. So I made it from my homegirl, like, bitch, my flight just got canceled. We gonna do? I know I gotta be there for my homegirl, so I'm like, okay, let me just book it up. Like, I ended up looking for JetBlue, and that was cool. But the whole point of the matter is, like, some people don't know that their flights is canceled, but they come into the airport to getting out of flights. They didn't see us. They had asked me, what's your flight I'm begin with? And I told her, she's like, well, if we be going with so and so, you would have been canceled spirit doing people dirty. Shit. Well, the thing I was hoping to see now is, you know, I got one. Like, Spirit Airlines just cancel our. Hold up. What are you drinking? Stop the place, not the day. I take Spirit out because Spirit decided to shut down in one day. We just flew in yesterday on Spirit on the 1st of May, and then now it's the 2nd of May, and we can't fly out on the 2nd of May because Spirit decided to shut down. So, y'all, I've been out here like looking at my best flight, okay? And all of a sudden, I get a mix of seeing my flights. It's I can't want to change my flight, trying to change my flight. It was then it was like, oh, all this stuff sold out. I'm like, so I won't hold for 2 hours. Like, it was 1:30 when I got the notification. And my flight was at 6. I'm like, look, like spirit couch eggs. And all of a sudden, 3 o'clock, they sent me to saying, oh, we're penguin. How do you get up, wake up in the middle of the night on vacation to an email saying, bitch, you ain't got no way home? Is that legal? How do you take me somewhere? 15 hours ago, how do you take me somewhere? And then wake me up at 3 o'clock and say, we sorry, friend, but we ain't gonna bring you back home. Find another way. Not find another way as in call an Uber, but find another airline. Spirit. Not just that. Oh, they ain't got no more. They canceled us at 3 o'clock in the morning. Damn.
You have people sitting in airports all across the country pissed off right now. Totally understandable. Then you have a whole nother group of people that was planning to travel within the near future. And now their whole plans are all jacked up and they already paid for their accommodations and it's too late to cancel. They don't have any flight tickets anymore. I just woke up this morning and this is what I don't. It's beautiful. I'm supposed to be going out of town. Something told me it was over. Why does Spirit cancel? I what the? That's my rolling out ticket, bro. How am I supposed to get the rolling out now, bro? I canceled my damn flight 7 days before, bro. Nigga, I got VIP tickets, bro. 650 down the fucking drain. Rolling out help, please. Bro, I wake up to this tragedy, this monstrosity, bro. And it's like, damn, this shit ruined my fucking week. You feel me, bro? Like, ain't even supposed to. I can't even see non-vicious now, bro. I can't even see YB. I can't even see Cardi. Come on, bro. Bro, I didn't get VIP for no reason. I did not get VIP for no reason. So guess what? Nigga, we spending that extra band to go, bro. It's unfortunate. It is what it is, bro. A whole nother band just to get there. But Southwest Airlines, bro, y'all my ultimatum, bro. So this is my last resort. Damn, bro, this is unfortunate. So a whole lot of customers out there, and they're fed up, and they're pretty pissed off about this. But the workers, we forgot all about the workers in this. It's a whole bunch of workers that's say they've been blindsided because I'm pretty sure it's been rumblings of this all throughout the company. But it's a whole bunch of workers that's in a tight spot right now.
I officially lost my job. I have officially lost my job.
The winner will go to the World Cup.
Never thought I'd be part of the team that got
I officially lost my job.
A lot of people that was dependent on Spirit. Spirit let them down, man. You know, Spirit is known for letting people down. You know, don't get it confused. Spirit was never the most dependable. But nobody thought that they would just close up shop at 3 a.m. one day on people. Nobody thought they would take it that far.
I fear you're underestimating the sneakiness, sir.
Spirit Airlines has officially gone out of business. How? They did everything right. Who's gonna cancel my flights for me now? How am I gonna sit next to people with no teeth now? How am I gonna sit on a seat that's sticky now? Finding out that Spirit Airlines is going out of business, that's like hearing your friends getting divorced after he cheated all the time and was a raging alcoholic. Yeah, that's what was clearly going to happen. Spirit Airlines is pretty much like, you're taking a cab these days instead of an Uber, and you're like, do you guys even want to stay in business? Now that they're gone, don't you miss them a little bit? Don't you well, no, I guess you don't, because you could take Greyhound and it's pretty much the same experience. Anyway, in honor of Spirit and all the flights I took with that wonderful airline, I will now damage my own luggage.
A sad day. This does trigger a change. They're going to use the excuse of the war and the jet fuel to raise the prices. And once they raise these prices, they're never going to come back down. And nobody's going to try to fill Spirit's slot of, you know, cheap flights. So flying has just got more expensive overnight. So in all actuality, this is a sad day.
It's a sad day. It's a very, very sad day. Spirit Airlines shutting down. People have been texting me, calling me, sending me condolences. Like, I know we have joked about Spirit Airlines for years. Everybody knows I'm a huge advocate of Spirit, right? I'm a saver. I help people save money for a living. But this is a sad day. People have lost their job. Tens of thousands of people have lost their job. Thousands of people that really depend on this low cost airline to travel that may not have otherwise gone anywhere. This is a sad day. And I also feel like maybe I was one of the people contributing to this problem, right? I made posts about go to the ticket counter to get an even cheaper flight. I've talked about how to pack your bags. I've taught you how to pack bags and told you types of bags to even buy so you didn't have to pay extra at the counter. I have praised the workers that didn't really care that much, that right? And they probably part of the problem too. I have told you how to avoid paying for a seat to sit with your family. I mean, it's disturbing. I love Spirit Airlines. And no, I'm not okay. This is It's a sad day. It's a sad day for people that lost their job and people that really depend on Spirit.
It's a sad, dark day.
I hope all the customers that's stuck somewhere and have to reschedule find a way to reschedule and find another flight. And I hope everybody that worked for Spirit have a quick rebound from this. Spirit right now, we're drifting off. It's a memory right now.
Open up to the spirit sky.
So this video pretty much is going to end like all the other videos. Hit me up in the comment section and let me know how you feel about everything you have just witnessed.
Tell me how you felt about what just happened, buddy.
And if you made it to this point in the video, you are my MVP.
It was a stone group, my man.
Body.
Spirit is gone, y'all. It's a sad day in America. Oh my God, I am crying. They're gone. No more cheap flights. What I'm gonna do? It's real. It was a good run. Until next time.
It's over.
Always watch what they do, not
Not
what they say.
That's right.
Supreme Court just gutted the Voting Rights Act, civil rights law that has been on the books for 60 plus years.
They want us back in
It is
chains.
a law that Dr. King, John Lewis, Fannie Lou Hamer, Viola Luiso, and so many others marched and spilled blood for. It is a colossal step backwards for the vibrant multiracial democracy that so many fought so hard to build in our country. If you want to understand why the Supreme Court this, you have to look at doing, because ultimately this is an effort of politicians to decide who their voters are, as opposed to having the voters choose who their politicians are.
That's right.
So let me break it down. During Jim Crow segregation, politicians would draw maps to shut out Black voters, to diminish the power of their vote and their voice. And one way was to take a large group of Black voters and split them into multiple parties, and their votes never really mattered. That's called cracking. Another way was to take a large group of Black voters, large enough to be majorities in two districts, put them all into one district. That's called hacking. And through tactics like hacking and cracking, creatively drawing the lines, craven politicians who sought to maintain Jim Crow were able to successfully strip Black voters of their political power even when they show up. They were able to silence and diminish their voices in our democracy.
Shut your mouth, nigga!
The Voting Rights Act put a stop to
Damn.
this. Fast forward to today, for the Supreme Court decision, politicians in many southern states, including my own state of Georgia, were literally lining up plans to deprive Black citizens of representation by this very same mechanism.
It's always been the plan.
Now they're saying the quiet part out loud, that they plan to take cohesive Black communities and minimize their influence.
There it is.
That's why we need the Voting Rights Act, because these abuses are happening in real time. Without it, these politicians will move to deprive Black voters of their voice. They will move to do the very thing that the Voting Rights Act was meant to prevent. This was all telegraphed beforehand. None of this was in secret. Yet Trump's Supreme Court chose to ignore that. They chose to roll back the clock because there is an extreme movement in this country that is willing to do anything to stay in power. And if that means dragging us back to the days of Jim Crow, so be it.
Dang. About to have nigga water fountains again. God damn. I be thirsty, so I ain't trying to drink out of that shit. Shit's getting out of hand. Trying to put these niggas back in their place. How American up there. How American. Ain't this a bitch? Well, they're doing everything in their power to stifle us, ain't they? These niggas to the back of the bars. I gotta laugh to keep from crying. This shit is crazy. Uh-huh. The food felt like a lot at first at the beginning of the week, but now I'm hungry. The plan actually made it very easy for me to keep it moving because it took me guesswork out of what I'm going to eat. Am I allowed to have rice cakes for a snack? If so, how many a day? Workouts feel good. I'm getting a good pump in the gym. And the cardio is going smoothly as well. Here are my progress photos for the week. Go fast, keep going. Stop next to me.
Suddenly, Hank says, "You got to try this place," kind of thing. All right.
There no to get out. Well, you know, I'm gonna just go in. I'm gonna go in. You know, watch it. No, back. You go back to the top. Step out. Say so. The problem. This is why you need this back. This is good.
The built-in search engine never collects your search history, and it blocks those cookies and ads.
That was easy.
Download DuckDuckGo today.
This helps me pay for my bills. Sign up directly on the app. Choose your own hours. Get paid to deliver on your time. There are opportunities in over 7,000 cities. 100% of your tips. Download the DoorDash driver app and get started today.
There is a version of intelligence that looks nothing like intelligence. It swears, it procrastinates, it lies awake at 2 a.m. arguing with someone who has no idea the argument is happening. It finds things funny that nobody else in the room finds funny. And it second guesses itself constantly, even when it's the smartest mind in the conversation. This is the version psychology is finding in the research when it looks at people with a genuinely high IQ, and none of it can be faked. Number one, you swear. Not constantly, not out of laziness, but fluently, expressively, like someone who actually knows exactly which word belongs in a sentence. And sometimes that word is not one you'd say in front of a grandmother. Here's what the research found. A study published in the journal Language Sciences asked participants to list as many swear words as they could in 1 minute, then as many animals as they could in 1 minute. The people who produced the most swear words also produced the most dictionary blush. The assumption has always been that people who swear lack the words to express themselves any other way. The research says the opposite is true. People with high verbal intelligence don't just know more words, they know more of every kind of word, and they deploy all of them with precision. So, the next time someone raises an eyebrow at your language, you can tell them your lexical fluency is just particularly well rounded. Or you can just let them figure it out. Number two, you find things funny that clear the room. Not performed dark humor, the involuntary kind, where something genuinely structurally absurd strikes you at exactly the wrong moment, in exactly the wrong setting. A funeral, a tense meeting, the precise second someone is trying to make a serious point. And the two other people who also felt it happening are the only ones worth talking to for the rest of the evening. A study in cognitive processing found that people who both appreciated and produced dark humor scored significantly higher on verbal intelligence and emotional stability. Here's why that matters. Finding something darkly funny requires your brain executes it in milliseconds, calls it the beat. They're missing processing speed. And a mind that folded inside something serious, that notices the quiet joke buried inside a genuinely terrible situation. That's not a personality quirk. That's architecture. Number three, you rehearse conversation. You're in the shower running 3 different versions of a discussion that isn't scheduled until Thursday. You're driving and you're still editing something you said 2 days ago, mapping every branch of how it could have gone differently, finding the one sentence that would have landed better. People call this anxiety. Cognitive researchers call it predictive modeling. Your brain isn't worrying, it's running simulations, pressure testing outcomes before they arrive, anticipating the emotional logic of another person's response before they've even had it. This is the same mechanism behind negotiation, strategic thinking, and every person who seems to read a room before they've even sat down in it. The difference is it doesn't have an off switch. It runs on text messages you haven't sent yet, on arguments with people who have no idea you've already had the argument with them 7 times inside your head and won 4 of them. Number 4, you unconsciously absorb other people's accents, speech rhythms, and mannerisms without meaning to. Spend a weekend with someone who speaks slowly, and something in your own pace quietly shifts down. Talk to someone expressive and animated, and by the end of the conversation, your hands are doing things they weren't doing before. Spend an hour with someone from a different part of the country, and you drive home slightly doing their accent and genuinely hoping nobody in the car noticed. And the strangest part is, you didn't decide to do any of it. There was no moment of choosing. It just happened, the way breathing happens, except somehow more embarrassing when you catch it in the rearview mirror. Researchers call this linguistic accommodation, and it happens because pattern recognition in high IQ individuals operates below the level of conscious decision. Your brain maps how someone communicates and begins integrating it almost immediately, the same way it integrates any pattern worth learning. Most people hear an accent. Your brain hears a system. And before you've decided to do anything about it, you're already running it. That's not an awkward habit. That's one of the rarest things a nervous system can do. Number 5, certain sensory experiences feel genuinely unbearable to you in a way that seems completely disproportionate to what's actually happening. The restaurant is too loud, and your thinking just stops mid sentence. The fluorescent light in the office is doing something specific and terrible to your concentration that you can't fully explain to anyone without sounding ridiculous. The wrong fabric against your skin is so present and so insistent, it's competing with every other thought you're trying to have.
Take his face. His face. Oh. No. Skin.
So present and so insistent, it's competing with every other thought you're trying to have. A study surveying members of Mensa found they reported dramatically higher rates of sensory processing sensitivity compared to national averages. Researchers called it the hyper-brain, hyper-body effect. The same neurological system that enables heightened cognitive processing also receives significantly more signal from the physical environment. Your brain isn't running better software on standard hardware. The hardware is different too. What feels like being precious or difficult is actually a completely logical consequence of a nervous system that was never set to factory default. Most people have a filter. Yours just never came with one. Number 6, you don't follow rules because someone told you to. Here's what that actually feels like from the inside. It's not defiance. It's not a bad attitude. It's more like being asked to agree that 2 plus 2 equals 5 by someone with an impressive job title. And no matter how senior the person is, no matter how long the tradition has been in place, none of it changes the math. Your brain already ran the calculation. It already knows. Research published in the European Journal of Social Psychology found that higher cognitive ability strongly predicted willingness to challenge and defy unjust or illogical authority, not out of rebellion, but because a brain running continuous critical evaluation cannot simply suspend that function because the room expects it to. You follow rules you can verify. You respect competence you can observe. What you cannot do, what you have genuinely never been able to do, is look at a wrong answer and call it right because the person delivering it has a title on their door. Some people find this refreshing. Most institutions find it exhausting. Both reactions make complete sense. Number 7, you procrastinate most on the things that matter most to you, not the small stuff. You can handle the small stuff just fine. It's the one that actually counts, the project with real stakes, the creative work, the decision that could genuinely change something, where you somehow cannot begin. And from the outside, that looks like avoidance or laziness. From the inside, it feels more like standing at the edge of something enormous, with your feet just refusing to move. Studies on high IQ individuals and procrastination found that the same cognitive ability that makes someone excellent at complex work also makes them able to model failure in precise, uncomfortable detail. And when your identity has spent years being built around being the capable one, the one who figures things out, falling short of your own standard isn't just disappointing. It lands somewhere much closer to existential. So the brain stalls, not because you're lazy, because it's protecting something it genuinely cannot afford to lose. That's not a productivity problem. That's a measure of how much the thing actually means to you. Number 8, relationships are harder for you than almost anything else in your life. Not because you don't want closeness, because you want it with the precision that makes closeness genuinely difficult. You notice the small inconsistency between what someone said last week and what they're saying now. You feel the direction something is heading long before the other person has thought about it, which pulls you slightly out of the present moment and into a future that hasn't arrived yet. Sometimes that means you've already quietly processed the ending of something that has only just begun, which, if you think about it, is both an impressive cognitive feat and a genuinely exhausting way to fall in love. Research consistently shows that adults with above average IQs report higher frustration in romantic relationships, not because they're emotionally unavailable, because intimacy requires a particular kind of surrender, and a brain wired to continuously observe and analyze resists that surrender almost by design. It's not impossible, but it takes more deliberate work than it appears to take for other people. And for a long time, many highly intelligent people quietly wonder why the thing that everyone else seems to do naturally feels like the hardest thing they've ever tried to learn. Number 9, when someone states something confidently that you know to be wrong, your entire body registers it before your brain has finished processing why. There's a tension that moves through you, a quiet internal friction that you have to actively manage not to show on your face. And it doesn't matter if the person is a stranger, a colleague, or someone with 4 degrees in a corner office. The wrongness lands the same way regardless of who's delivering it. What's strange is that the same mechanism that catches other people's errors never extends them the courtesy of switching off when it turns toward you. Highly intelligent people are at least as hard on themselves for intellectual inconsistency as they are on anyone else. They catch their own contradictions. They notice when what they believe doesn't quite survive their own scrutiny. They cannot hold a position they know has a hole in it, just because abandoning it would be inconvenient. Psychologists studying epistemic humility find that higher cognitive ability correlates strongly with this kind of discomfort, both outward and inward. It's not self doubt, it's intellectual honesty running as an involuntary reflex. And it is genuinely exhausting in a world that rewards sounding certain far more than actually being right. Number 10, you second guess yourself more than people around you who are measurably less capable. And this is not a coincidence or a quirk. It's almost a mathematical inevitability. Most people know the Dunning-Kruger effect from one direction. People who know very little tend to dramatically overestimate their own competence because they don't yet have the framework to recognize what they're missing. But the effect runs the other way just as hard. And this is the part nobody talks about. The more genuinely someone understands something, the more clearly they can see its edges, the uncertainty, the variables that don't resolve cleanly, the places where the honest answer is, actually, I don't know. Real understanding breeds hesitation, not because the person is wrong, but because they're often the only one in the room who can see exactly how many ways being wrong is possible. Certainty that looks like confidence usually belongs to someone who hasn't thought about it long enough to find the complexity. So, if you've spent most of your life feeling less sure than everyone around you seems to be, that's worth sitting with. Because it might not be a gap in your intelligence, it might be the most honest signal of it. Here's what every single one of these signs has in common. None of them look like what we were taught intelligence is supposed to look like. They're inconvenient. They're sometimes isolating. They cannot be rehearsed, performed, or faked. They show up because a particular kind of mind cannot help producing them. Tell me in the comments which one hit closest to home. And if you want to keep going, the next video was made for exactly the kind of person who just watched this one. Click it.
Go farther in the all-new Jeep Cherokee Hybrid with over 500 miles of range with no plug needed.
Sally.
God damn.
Northern New Mexico, Rio Arriba County Sheriff Billy Merrifield has his deputies finding him.
Maria Chavez in Espanola speaking to the new sheriff in charge. Yeah, Shelley and Doug, the details right now are limited. We know that the sheriff's body is at OMI in Albuquerque.
I can't even describe it. It's a huge loss.
The Rio Arriba County Sheriff's Office in mourning. Former Sheriff Billy Merrifield dying unexpectedly Sunday morning. His own deputies finding him.
So we had a deputy that went out there on scene, but we felt that it was best that our agency didn't take over the investigation.
His body being transported to Albuquerque in a procession as our Sky 7 flew ahead. New Mexico State Police now leading the investigation.
All sorts of unattended deaths, which is a death outside of a care of a physician, so that has to be investigated. That's with any unattended death.
County commissioners wasting no time, holding a special session first thing Monday morning, appointing Lorenzo Aguilar as the new sheriff, speaking to KOAT, describing Merrifield.
He was very, very for the people, about the community.
State Auditor Joseph Maestas and former mayor of Espanola also remembering his friend.
He's a great friend and a great public servant, but I think it hurts more when an honorable and noble public servant like Billy Merrifield passes away on the job.
And since we've been here, we've seen multiple law enforcement agencies, not with Rio Arriba County, but from surrounding agencies, drop off flowers. We've seen food and water, all showing an outpouring of support here. Reporting in Espanola, Leah Chavez, KOAT Action 7 News.
We asked New Mexico State Police for an update on their investigation, but have not heard back.
And there you see the picture of the now deceased former sheriff of Rio Arriba, New Mexico, Billy Merrifield. And you heard the guy say, well, it's such a shame where a noble and respected man dies on the job. Such a, we're all in hurt. Well, he didn't die on the job. He actually overdosed
on the job.
on fentanyl, to be exact. Peace and blessings, all praises due to the Most High. This situation happened last year, right about this time, and not a lot of people heard about this. This is a very little publicized story. I spoke with a woman from New Mexico, and she was telling me about this particular situation. And you see, they wasted no time installing a new sheriff. They had the proverbial procession for a fallen law enforcement officer on duty. But about a month after his death, the investigation revealed this.
Well, tonight we're learning much more about the death of former Rio Arriba County Sheriff Billy Merrifield. His deputies found him dead in his patrol unit outside his home on Easter morning. And now just today, medical investigators released his toxicology and autopsy report, and those have actually led to even more questions. The results show that he died from a toxic combination of alcohol and fentanyl.
So will that change the course of the state police investigation into his death? Emily Faith looked through those results and also got some insight from a medical professional today. So, Emily, what all did you learn? Well, Tessa Trevor, the toxicology results show it didn't take much alcohol or fentanyl to be the lethal combination for Merrifield. We can take a look right here. Now, his blood alcohol content was 0.07, and that is below the legal limit. Test results show that he had 23 nanograms of fentanyl in his system, though, which medical professionals say is basically a trace amount. I talked to a former investigator for the New York City Medical Examiner's Office, and she explains why even that small amount of fentanyl combined with alcohol can be a deadly dose, especially if he had any underlying medical issues.
As respiration slows, fluids build up in the lungs. They start to leak from the capillaries. So now, if you take these drugs and you get CNS depression, now the fluid builds up and up in the lungs. Essentially, they're drowning themselves.
Now, I reached out to state police who are investigating Merrifield's death to see if these results are going to change anything, and they declined to comment.
In the mood for some round-faced zombies mayhem? Call of Duty Mobile Zombies mode patches up. Mow down the hordes of the undead on the go. Call of Duty Mobile. All the modes. Endless ways to play.
Okay, today we're going to discuss some really mind-blowing discoveries when it comes to archaeology. Because in this case, what if I told you that the infamous Kraken was not actually a myth? And instead, he was just a little bit late to the party. 100 million years late. Because in this video, we're going to discuss this extremely recent study that found incredible evidence of this. This is Nanaimo Teuthis, a 19-meter or 62 feet long super predator that previously scientists believed could not possibly exist. Yet today we're going to discuss new evidence from the late Cretaceous period, approximately 100 to 72 million years ago, that almost definitively shows us that these things did exist and were possibly some of the largest predators in existence on the planet. In this case, so large and so scary that they potentially hunted everything else, including the infamous Mosasaurus, that scary creature from the Jurassic Park. And Mosasaurus is something my kids are obsessed with because we actually have tons of toys at home. And so for a very long time, up until I guess recently, scientists assumed that the ancient oceans were exclusively ruled by these massive vertebrates and technically massive reptilians, such as Mosasaurus, Plesiosaurus, and more recently, megalodon sharks. However, this recent groundbreaking discovery revealed a previously unknown predator that's now the prime contender for the apex predator of this whole era, a giant octopus the size of a city bus. Nanaimo Teuthis hagarty. And so let's discuss exactly what this means for our understanding of the octopus and for our understanding of invertebrates, and of course discuss why this is such an incredible discovery, assuming of course it's all confirmed. And the thing is, one of the biggest problems in paleontology is that we usually find only what's left behind. And for vertebrates, it's generally pretty easy. They contain a lot of bones inside, and bones can preserve for a very long time. As a matter of fact, bones and teeth, because of their hardness, fossilize very well. But invertebrates like octopuses, squid, and cuttlefish are soft-bodied, and so they essentially leave almost nothing behind except for their beak. And because they're so soft, and also because a lot of them are very intelligent, sometimes they're also referred to as an intelligent goo. But because their bodies decompose extremely quickly, we don't really know much about their evolution and actually have a limited number of fossils from back in the days. And most of the fossils usually involve nautiloids, which do contain a shell, but despite being invertebrates, they are quite different from octopuses. And so it's really only the beak fossils, which are scientifically known as the chitinous jaws, that can usually preserve fossils and can tell us just a little bit more about the octopus evolution. And well, just like modern octopuses, ancient species very likely also had these powerful beak that were also made out of the same material, chitin. This is essentially the same stuff we have in our fingernails, but it's just a lot more dense. And so a typical octopus beak, in theory, can survive for millions of years. And that's in essence what the scientists from the Hokkaido University in Japan discovered extremely recently. But here they used a new method referred to as digital fossil mining, something that in essence does this. Instead of just cracking rocks open, which can usually destroy fragile specimens, here they used high-resolution grinding tomography, which involves sanding down the rock samples layer by layer and then taking high-resolution images of each slice. And so once they've done this, they use the machine learning algorithm referred to as the zero-shot learning in order to process these massive datasets and reconstruct three-dimensional structures of the beaks discovered in the fossil. And so using this process, they managed to analyze 27 different fossils from Japan and from Vancouver Island, essentially discovering beaks from specimens of different sizes. And in the process, they discovered two specific species that seem to represent what's known as the fin octopus, belonging to the genus Nanaimo-Teothis, in this case named after Nanaimo, one of the regions in Vancouver. And technically, Nanaimo-Teothis gillespie was actually discovered back in 2008 and was already quite impressive, possibly up to 8 meters in length. But it was really this recent discovery of a new specimen, and technically a new species, that shocked everyone. Nanaimo-Teothis, Hagarty, seemed to be at least 3 times as big. And so here, by using what's known as allometric scaling, or basically by comparing the sizes of various fossilized beaks to the body ratio of 12 modern octopuses, the team calculated that this particular species could reach the length of approximately 19 to 20 meters. And once again, to put that in perspective, this is almost twice as big as the giant squid, which is the largest living cephalopod known to us today, and is approximately 2 meters or 6 feet longer than the star of the Jurassic Park, Mosasaurus. Here's roughly how the sizes in this case compare. Which means that for at least a few million years during this period, this was essentially the apex predator on the entire planet. Although I guess technically in the oceans, because I highly doubt such a massive creature would be able to get outside of the water and somehow move around. But in this case, there's a lot of signs that this didn't just survive underwater, it potentially preyed upon some of the most massive creatures living at this time. In other words, there are actual signs that this was a top predator. And so I guess the question here is, how do we know that? How do we actually know this was not some kind of a peaceful scavenger? Well, the answer in this case is wear patterns. And that's something you see in this image. Here, the fossil showed extensive chipping, scratching, and polishing, and in some species, up to 10% of the jaw tip has been worn away. And this level of damage usually indicates what's known as durophagy, basically an act of crushing hard prey. In other words, whatever they were eating had to be very hard and most likely involve bone. And so this is an almost definitive evidence that these octopuses were not just eating soft fish, they were using their powerful beaks to crack through shells or a lot of other mollusks, and most likely
Take flicks. A Science and Kirk success story. Meet Pat. Dancing is her thing. And helping kids through her youth literacy.
It's a beautiful day to do these reactions, man. Listen, like it before you light it, hit the sub before you hit the bud, join the team before you hit the green. And this.
Hot meal. Hot meal.
Yeah, let's get into this, y'all. Something is off, and millions are starting to notice it. Let's get into this video.
It's just me, but nothing hits the same no more. And what I mean by nothing, I mean like just everything in general. Family, friends, friendships, holidays, just there's not really a specific category I'm just saying life in general just doesn't hit the same.
Just getting on.
I feel like after COVID hit back in 2020, that's when just everything I felt like just went downhill. Just everything in general. Okay.
You know what's interesting about that? I've been feeling that way. I love my mom and I love my dad, but that's about all the people that I'm really close to outside of the people that I created, my children. But like, man, bro, like family and all that kind of stuff, man, bro. Thanksgiving's Christmas, man. I ain't never experienced no real Christmas or Thanksgiving with my real family. And since I can't even tell you, bro. So I'm picking up what he putting down.
Anybody else feel like they're going insane right now? Your gas prices are going up. Healthcare is unaffordable. Your food prices are ridiculous.
That's because of Trump. Let's be real.
50-year mortgages is a thing. Everything around you is fake. Your food's fake. Poison, water poison, sky poison. Your e-file people are still among us, ruling over us, knowing what they've done. We're still going to live. Every day, same routine, the burnout, man. I just see it on everybody's faces. You can't talk to nobody. Nobody at work wants to have a conversation about what's going on in the world. And then you go to a gas station or grocery store and you just see people. It's like zombies. It's like everybody's under a spell. Just burnt out, oblivious to what's going on.
The bullshit, brother.
Hey, breaking news. Got to the point where we've taken our kids out and homeschooled them, move back to our property, learn how to homestead, grow our own food, prepare for the end of the world. We were called crazy for that. I mean, can you not see the sign written on the wall? This thing that we're doing right now, the system that we've lived our whole life, it's unsustainable, people. It's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
We're almost $40 trillion in debt. It's be some hard times coming.
Yep.
And we're gonna have to get uncomfortable. And I just hope everybody wakes up to it, gets a little bit ahead before it happens.
Why does everything feel so weird? Ever since 2026, I wake up, I feel weird. I take a shower, I feel weird. I drive to work in the dark alone, I feel weird. I'm at work, things feel off, I feel weird. I eat lunch, I try to focus on like checking out the news or my computer, and I just feel uneasy. I can't settle in, so to speak. Everything just feels weird. I talk to coworkers, it feels weird. My weekends, I feel weird. I have a hard time falling asleep. I have a hard time waking up. And I don't know what the hell's going on. Is it just me? Does anybody else this year just feel weird? I can't even describe it. I just feel weird. Nothing feels normal anymore. Life doesn't feel normal. Going to the store don't feel normal. Going to work don't feel normal. Watching a movie with your family
Feel fine to me. You're depressed, my boy. Need some vitamins, a little exercise. Everything will be all right. Shit, depressing. God dang. I'm not feeling it. Oh, better not. Let's go. Let's go. Back to work. Complete. One, two, C, E. Well, that's just like a cow. Oh, that shit is crispy clean. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
need a second.
What up, yes, sir? Yes, sir. You want to get on this? I'm making it right now. All right. What kind of music do you do? Wait, I don't know how to make a dance song. Will you play me like 10 seconds of a song as an example, and then I'll try to make something cool? All right. Whatever you want.
So pretty mama don't worry about it. We're better than nations of a don't you rope. You chop the pussy with take it down, you know. Oh, you bubble up, some area. Fiesta. The couple of bars, it gets too shit. I want money in town, so get the focus up. Yo, what the like a tenny down? Yeah, you are bubble, make your body go out. Sit tight, the most way it so can we do gender the fiddle? On the city you are right, so as a super side. Why am I pull up there with them? You know, kill a lot. Feel like I'm a ring, so look at me the guys. Spend cash and go book your wine. As what the world out the ball up. I don't want this done up thing tomorrow. Oh, to me, if I still good things, love my the better to keep it. If you're scared, no need it off, and no get in and your jaws.
Stay frosty down there. Continue to push forward.
Well, pirates, yes, they brought back some to the merchant ship that learned to get from the bottom of their spirits. But that is stay strong, but don't be almighty. Reach down, stars, freedom. Don't lie in the Separate yourself from mental slavery. Don't put our stuck and free our minds. Have no fear for nothing energy. But none of that can stop every time. How while we stand aside and some say it's just a body thing. Got to forget help. It's all of freedom. All I ever had. I go get back, and it would ride on a wind and sun. And the children stop still and listen to me. God walked down to the bandit sea. He could tell that he was the central land. And then he decided to destroy the land. And he spoke to Noah. Noah stopped. He said, Noah, I want you to build me an ark. I want you to put it 3 cubits long. I want you to put it big and strong. I want it 50 high and 50 wide so it will stand in the wind and tide. It's I could go. I would ride on the wind and tide. Well, after the foundation was laid, then Noah began to use and build the reign of the hammer that judgment and the hewing of the salt that sin repent that 100 years he hammered and salt but filled the ark by the grace of God. And when the ark was done, God was the third. Then now Noah, let me tell you what to do. All letting the animals 2 by 2. We call them in the ark, and for 2 by 2, we call the birds the ox with the kangaroo, and we call it Jeffy. Sam little Sam Little, not began to collect the land. He raised his hands to heaven all time. God removed from the sky, the mouth of the trouble the sea. They went to his chariot, he stepped on land, and stood on the hill, and they clapped that time, there wouldn't be no more. No. I like that. Working it. Oh, yeah. Like I'm driving forever. What's up? What's up? Oh, oh.
Oh, what this?
Let's watch what Jared Kushner had to say about the master plan for Gaza's future.
So we did a master plan. We brought in, I think, Yakir Gabay, who's one of the most successful real estate developers and brilliant people I know. He's volunteered to do this, not for profit, really because of his heart. He wants to do this. And we've developed ways to redevelop Gaza. Gaza, as President Trump's been saying, has amazing potential for the people of Gaza. We've developed it into zones. In the beginning, we were toying with the idea.
No, they're serious. This is crazy. Oh my God. They're actually building up a whole stretch. They're building dude, they're going to build hotels. This could be a comedy.
This is great. I'm done. Ain't gonna happen.